What is your name and what do you teach?
Hi, my name's John and I teach science, Key Stage 3, and GCSE and A-level chemistry.
Excellent. Okay. And where did you study?
I did my first degree part-time whilst I was working as a chemist, actually, and that was at Nottingham Trent University. I then did a full-time master's degree in analytical chemistry and instrumentation. That was at Loughborough. And then I went back to Nottingham again to do my PhD.
Oh, you like Nottingham
Yeah.
then? What was your favourite childhood book or story?
A long time ago, I'm afraid. So they didn't have Harry Potter in my day. It was actually, when I thought back, there was a book called Mrs. Pepperpot. So most people probably never heard of it, but it was a little old lady who used to turn into the size of a pepper pot every now and again and have adventures. And that was my bedtime story when I was a child. So I still remember it.
Incredible. I want to read this book. Okay. So why do you love your subject? Why do you love science and chemistry?
Well, science is everywhere, especially at the moment when we look at the news, for good and bad reasons. Obviously, there's the climate change issues that are very prominent at the moment. Obviously, COVID and the introduction of the vaccines, which are down to scientists. I had a chemistry set when I was a child, and I've always been fascinated in learning how things work and everything to do with the world around us, really. And I think science just encapsulates that. And it's really something I'm very fired up about and always have been.
Okay, so it's something that you've always kind of leaned towards. Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. Who inspires you the most?
I would say probably Stephen Hawking was probably the most inspirational person that I've come across, really. Reading his books, that they're accessible, even though the subject matter is incredibly complex. He wrote in such a way that made them accessible. And obviously he had an awful lot to overcome in his personal life as well. Quite an incredible person in my view.
Yeah, I watched The Theory of Everything, which I know is not necessarily like the best representation of him, but I couldn't agree more. Very inspiring individual. Yeah. Okay, so can you give me a little brief explanation, so like in 3 words, your teaching style?
Yes, I like to think it's a friendly style. So I always encourage people to ask lots of questions, and I question them too. So it's highly interactive. But I also make sure that it's professional. So we stick to the subject matter. It's okay to deviate and elaborate to try and bring science to life. But at the end of the day, there's a syllabus, a curriculum we have to stick to, and we have to make sure that everything is geared up towards those final exams at the end.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's like I study history with Janet, and it's the same thing. As like, as long as you're staying on subject and you're just elaborating a little bit, that's okay. It's when you're completely deviating maybe there's a bit of an issue. Okay, why is your subject important? Why do you think students should learn chemistry or science?
I think all subjects are important. All education is worthwhile, in my view. But obviously, as I said earlier, science is all around us. We're constantly being bombarded with news, information from all different quarters nowadays, especially social media. I think if you've got the education and the knowledge where you can make your own decisions as to whether what you're actually being given as information is valid or not, then that's really important. Certain example there being the vaccination program, which I'm obviously a big supporter of. Lots of people are anti that, and there's various reasons, which is fine. But so long as it's an informed decision that they're taking, then that's fine. But in order for it to be informed, obviously they need the knowledge.
Exactly. I was talking about something similar with another tutor, and he said something very similar, which is that science and I specifically chemistry, talking about it here, allows you to open a door was the way he kind of described it, into a more informed choice. So it's okay to make a choice that maybe other people don't agree with, as long as you know why you think that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at it, really.
Yeah.
And final question, can you give me your top tip for chemistry?
Top tip for chemistry. Yeah, I think chemistry is a very practical subject. There's no doubt about it. You can't do chemistry unless you get involved there with your sleeves rolled up. I would say my top tip, if you're in lessons in class at school, is to throw yourself into the practicals as much as you can. And also, whilst you're doing those practicals, try and relate it as much as possible to the theory that's going on behind it. You could always bring that then to a tuition lesson, a private tuition lesson, where you can go through it and try and link the two, because it's the practical sessions for me that really bring chemistry to life.